Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking all about blush. I'm going to be sharing all of my best tips and tricks. We're going to talk about blush placement, how to choose the best shades of blush, building a blush wardrobe, and different ways you can use blush in your makeup routine. Now, I'm a firm believer that there are no rules when it comes to makeup, only guidelines, because what really matters is your personal preference. Nobody knows your face better than you. So I would encourage everyone to play around with different colors, application techniques, and placements to see what you like best on your face. And today's video is sponsored by Sephora, and we've partnered with the iconic Pat McGrath Labs. So in today's demonstrations, I'm going to be using the Skin Fetish Divine Blush Powder. This blush retails for $38 at Sephora. I absolutely love this packaging. It's incredible. And the formula is just as amazing. So I have several shades here. This is Desert Orchid, Divine Rose, Paradise Venus, and Flirtatious. Inside you can see it has the Divine Rose design embossed directly on the powder, which is really pretty. And the pans are huge. You get a lot of product in each of these compacts. It's a powder formula, but it almost feels like it's melting as soon as you touch it. It is so lightweight with a silky velvet finish. My first tip is for choosing the right shade. You want to think about your skin tone. So if you're looking for something soft and complementary, you want to choose a blush with the same undertone as your skin. This would be the perfect everyday blush. You also want to think about your skin's intensity level. So here I have Flirtatious. It's described as a soft beige pink because I'm naturally very light. I do sunless tan my body, but I'm still very fair, and I wear a neutral foundation. So this would be the perfect everyday flattering blush shade for me. It does have a touch of warmth, but it's pretty neutral. Now, if that sounds incredibly boring and basic to you, don't worry, you are not confined to that undertone. If you prefer something that gives you a pop of color and a little contrast, then you should choose a shade of blush that has the opposite undertone as your skin. So because I am more neutral to warm, I would go with a shade like Divine Rose, which is a very cool mauvey rose blush. This would give me that pop of color. This would be a great evening, weekend blush, something a little bit more elevated, maybe special occasion. It will still be flattering, but it all depends on your application technique and how much you apply. Which brings me to blush tip number 2, which is to think about the big picture. Not only do you need to take into consideration your skin tone, but what else do you have going on with the makeup look? I usually do my eyes first, and on a daily basis, I use warm eyeshadows. So it makes sense for me to go with a blush that has a warm undertone. Same thing with lipstick. If I'm wearing a really warm bronze eye and a peach cheek, it just makes sense for me to choose maybe a peachy nude lipstick to match the look. And the opposite is true. So if I'm doing a really neutral or cool toned eye, then I'll go with a more neutral or cool toned blush. And the same thing is true for the lipstick as well. Another really easy way to create that cohesion and consistency between the eye and the cheek is to take your eyeshadow and use this to blend out the crease of your eye look. This is one of my all-time favorite makeup hacks. It's so fast, and it's also great for travel makeup. You can use your complexion products on the eyes. One of my favorite things to do is take a little blush or maybe a little bronzer in the crease, dab a little highlighter on the lid, and you're good to go. But even on a regular basis, doesn't matter what eye look you're planning, take a little bit of your blush on a blending brush and just use that to gently soften the outer edges of the eye. That way it ties the colors together between the two areas of the face. It's great for a monochromatic makeup look. It's very effortlessly flattering. It just makes sense. It removes anything too distracting from the makeup look. It just goes. Now let's talk about application and placement, because it has become a really popular trend for everybody to apply their blush up here, the tops of the cheeks. And what this is going to do is it's going to lift the entire face, and that's going to work really well for a lot of people, but not everybody, so you have to be careful. Here I'm going to show you video of me applying blush in 2 different places. First, I'm going to apply the blush really high up on the cheekbone. And then on the other side, I'm going to apply the blush on the apples of the cheeks, blending back towards the temples. On the cheek where I've applied the blush really high up towards the top of the cheeks and the temples, everything looks really lifted. Attention is drawn upward. On the cheek where I applied blush to the apples, attention is drawn a little bit lower towards the center of the face. One is not right or wrong, they're just 2 different makeup looks, and they will complement different face shapes. What I've found in my personal experience through good old-fashioned trial and error is that because of the way I fill in my eyebrows and I do my eyeliner, if I were to apply my blush really high up on the cheeks, like so, it brings all the attention to this area right here, and it almost creates kind of a scrunched effect. And then I have all of this blank space in the center of my face, and it's not actually the most flattering makeup look. Now, if I changed the way I did my brows and eyeliner, then yes, I could absolutely apply my blush up here. And it is going to lift the face, but it doesn't work for everybody and for every makeup style. So what I've been doing is I've been taking my blush, and this is Flirtatious. Yes, Flirtatious, because this is also what I used on the crease of my eyes today. I take my brush, and I'm using the Sephora Pro number 96 brush, and I'm going to fill a little bit above the hollows of the cheek. So kind of the traditional way my mom first taught me to apply blush is you kind of go like this, suck in the cheek a little bit, and you can see, right here is the hollow of my cheek. So I'm not really taking it on the apple, and I'm not taking it up here, kind of somewhere in the middle. And I want to blend upward, and I want to place the blush a little bit above that hollow, because I certainly don't want to drag the face down. I'm going to go ahead and apply blush finally so I can show you. What I love so much about this blush brush, by the way, besides the fact that the head is kind of the perfect size to fit right there on the apple, if this is where you like to apply your blush, but it's flat, so it kind of creates this little flat shape right here that I can use to chisel out the hollow. So I'm going to pick up the blush. Right in here. And then I am going to blend it up and back. Along with the eyes and cheeks, you can also apply blush up on your temples and on your nose as well, and that's what we're going to do next. To apply blush to your nose, you're going to want to choose a shade that is close to your skin tone in intensity and has some warmth to it. So for this, I'm going in with Desert Orchid, and I'm just going to take this Sephora Pro 79 brush, picking up the teeny tiniest bit of product. You really don't need a lot. And I'm going to begin to tap right in the center of the nose, and even a little bit underneath the eye, but higher up. And what this is going to do is it's going to mimic a natural suntan. You want to make sure that you're blending and you're only applying a teeny tiny bit of product, and you also want to make sure you have the right shade. But this is just going to give you that really soft and summery sun-kissed look. This has been really popular, and I can see why. I think it looks really cute. When done correctly, blush on the nose is amazing. I'm going to flip my brush to the other side because it's blank, and I'm just going to use this to blend. You want to be incredibly light-handed. Remember, the point is to mimic a suntan, not a sunburn. But it just looks very natural. This is the perfect summery makeup trick, and this is really the perfect summer blush. It has a very slight sheen to it. You can tell in the pan, but you can barely tell on the cheek. It's so subtle, but it will softly reflect light, and it leaves just the most beautiful sheen to the skin. I already know I'm going to use this color so much over the summer. I'm picking up just a little bit more, and I'm going to dust it on the tops of my shoulders. We're giving ourselves a little vacation glow. That way it looks like I just got back from spring break. And if my clavicles, if this was exposed, I would also take a little bit down here as well. It's just the perfect color for creating that sun-kissed blush look. The final step of my makeup look for the day is lips, and I have two other Pat McGrath Labs products here. This is the Divine Rose Lust Gloss, and the Divine Rose Permagel Ultra Lip Pencil. This is so smooth and creamy, and I'm excited to see what these look like together with this makeup look. Since we used Flirtatious on the cheeks and the eyes, which is more neutral, I think it's okay that we're doing the cool lip. Before it completely dries down, I'm going to feather this with my fingers. You have to work pretty quickly because once this lip liner dries, it's not going to budge. It is so long wearing. It's a good thing. Divine Rose has become such a legendary franchise. I want everything in Divine Rose. It's such a pretty color. And I can't help but think it's pretty universally flattering. By smudging out the liner with my finger, I'm creating a little bit more of a lived-in lip. There, perfect. This lip gloss formula is one of my favorites. It's not sticky, but it feels like it's really hugging the lip whenever you apply it. I also really like the applicator, and this color could be worn alone, but because I typically overline my lips, I wanted to go ahead and use the lip liner. But it's so shiny. It feels really buttery and hydrating, and it just looks like glass. I love it. I have several shades of this lip gloss, but I think the Divine Rose is my favorite shade. I was missing the lip. This really completes the entire makeup look. My final tip for blush application is to make sure you balance your lips and cheeks, which is why I like to be very light-handed with my cheek, because I always end with the lips, and then that's something that I'll do at the end. And I know I've talked about this numerous times over the years, is I kind of go back, look in the big mirror, look at the big picture once again, and kind of see what areas I need to tweak. Sometimes I think I'm going to wear one lipstick and I end up wearing something else, and I may need to go back and add a little bit more blush. So this is a much bolder lip. I still think the cheek works. I might add just a teeny tiny bit more. So I'm going to go back with Flirtatious. See, I think that looks really nice. And blush tends to fade pretty quickly on me. These blushes don't. Go in with just a little bit more. Now that I've done all of my final tweaks, this is the finished makeup look for the day. And overall, I think it turned out really nice. I like how the eye goes with the cheek, goes with the lip, and everything kind of ties together really nicely. It looks like a very cohesive, flattering makeup look. And I also really like the blush on the nose and the shoulders as well. It's very summery and perfect for Florida. So now let's talk about building the perfect blush wardrobe. I know for blush lovers, the limit does not exist. You just want to collect them all and have drawers filled with every single possible shade, and that is fine. But for any minimalists or people out there who are looking for just the necessary blushes that you need, I would begin with these three essentials right here. These are the only three blushes I think you need in your wardrobe. The first is going to be your everyday blush. This is what you're going to use just about every single time you do your makeup. It's flattering with your skin tone. You can wear it with your everyday eye, your everyday lip. You can kind of throw it on and go, and it works well with your skin tone. Then you have your pop of color blush. This is going to be your evenings, weekends. Maybe it's something that has a bit of a sheen to it or a little sparkle, something that gives you a little life. This is the blush that you're going to use most often when you're sitting down and you're really taking your time to do your makeup. This is not running out the door makeup. This is very thoughtful, well put together blush. Something that's going to be a little bit more interesting, maybe a bit brighter. And the third blush should be your sun-kissed option. This is going to be pretty close to your skin tone, maybe a hint of warmth, maybe a little sheen to it. This is going to mimic what your skin looks like after you've had a bit of sun. This is going to be perfect over the summer. But the reason you need this blush, it's not just to dust it on your nose. You can dust it on your nose, but this is the type of blush that I think always pairs really nicely with a bold red lip. That's a very common question. What shade of blush should I wear if I'm wearing a red lip, especially around the holidays, but anytime? It's always fun to pop on a red lip. I think there are exceptions to every rule. You could absolutely do a cool toned pink or a berry blush with a red lip. I'm sure there are plenty of photos out there with great examples of this. But I would say this is going to be your most wearable option. Something kind of neutral that mimics almost a bronzer. It's kind of a bronzer blush hybrid product. Something very light on the cheek just to give you a little color. It's going to give you that creamy, dreamy complexion, and then you have the bold red lip, which is going to be your focus point. That way it doesn't pull focus from the lip and you don't have a lot going on, especially if you're going to do maybe a smoky eye or bold lashes and the red lip. You're going to want something a little bit softer, more subtle for the cheek. That's when this blush will really come in handy and you'll be so thankful you have it in your collection. These three right here are the basics, the blush essentials, if you will. Your three shades will probably look a little different than mine, but these are the best examples of what you need in your blush collection. And that completes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and this was helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be listed down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.